mentioned that there could possibly be a $15 trillion price boom predicted in 2025. And so this would be massive. This would be pushing the price of Bitcoin up to $850,000 for one coin. So we're going to be talking about that in this video. If you enjoy this content, do me a favor and hit the like button and subscribe for future videos. And while you're down there, there's also a link to Margex Exchange and a link to Telegram to Altcoin Hero Community. And so I am trying something new there. All you have to do is provide your UID from Margex Exchange. And so let's go ahead and take a look at the price of Bitcoin here, currently trading at $103,000. And so we have a market cap right around $2 trillion today. According to the Forbes article there, they are predicting a $15 trillion market cap, which would put the price of Bitcoin around $850,000. And so that would be massive, right? We are continuing to see more and more buying pressure with Bitcoin, while the amount of Bitcoin being mined stays the exact same. And so we're starting to see a ton of demand, and you know what happens when the supply and demand issues occur, right? The supply is staying stable, however, demand is spiking based on the conversations around a Bitcoin strategic reserve. And so we're going to be talking about that in this video. Now, before I do that, I want to talk about Michael Saylor here. He mentioned that he's possibly going to be buying more Bitcoin tomorrow. And so the past 3 or 4 Mondays, Michael Saylor has purchased over $2 billion of Bitcoin. And so tomorrow, I am expecting that Michael Saylor will buy another $2 billion of Bitcoin. He is continuing to buy. You can see he has been continuing to buy since September of 2020. And even at $100,000 Bitcoin, he is placed in some of the largest buys that they have ever purchased. And so, one thing that's going to be very beneficial to Michael Saylor is the change to the tax rules that go into effect today. And so, right now, MicroStrategy is not able to show their actual profits on their Bitcoin holdings. And so they're up about $18 billion on their current Bitcoin holdings. And so it's massive, a 70% return since they started buying Bitcoin. And so based on the tax rules that's going into effect today, they're going to start showing the profits from holding Bitcoin. And so I think that's going to be massive. A lot of corporations may start to adopt the same strategy that Michael Saylor has been using. And so let's go ahead and take a look at this post here from Michael Saylor, that he has mentioned several catalysts that he believes could drive Bitcoin's price to $1 million per coin. And so the first one here is approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF. Now, this has already taken effect, right? This went live in January of this year. And so we can see here, iShares Bitcoin Trust, right? There's a lot of other ones out there as well. However, iShares has the largest position of Bitcoin, and they're continuing to buy and buy. We're also seeing Ethereum purchasing start to increase. And so I expect the price of Ethereum to start pushing higher as well. It has been right around $4,000. However, over the next couple of weeks, I expect Ethereum to start making a massive move. And so the next thing that Michael Saylor here mentions is traditional bank custody of Bitcoin. And so if major banks start offering custody services for Bitcoin, it would be seen as a significant endorsement. And so we have already seen that go into effect as well here. We had BNY that got the SEC's go-ahead to custody crypto assets. And this was in September of 2024. And so we're going to see more and more banks start offering custodian services for cryptocurrencies. Now the last one here just went into effect is the fair value accounting rule from the FSAB. And so the financial accounting standards changed the rules to allow companies to mark their Bitcoin holdings at a fair value on their balance sheets that could lead to more corporate investments in Bitcoin, as it would remove some of the financial reporting disadvantages. And so some of the larger companies out there do not have an advantage to holding Bitcoin because it affects their balance sheet in a negative way. And so that just changed here on December 15th. FSAB's new guidance goes into effect with fiscal years starting after December 15th. And so that is today. Depending on the corporation's fiscal years, they will be able to take advantage of this, and we could start to see a lot more adoption of Bitcoin being held on balance sheets. And so what exactly is this change here? And so we can see that crypto assets classified as indefinite lived intangible assets to be accounted for using costless impairment model. And so this model only recognizes decreases and not increases in crypto values. And so let's say that you purchase Bitcoin at $80,000. And let's say after that it dropped down to $60,000 and now it is trading at $102,000. With the previous accounting rules, you would have to value the Bitcoin at $60,000. However, with this change here, it is going to show the actual value of the Bitcoin. So if you purchased it at $80,000, you would now be able to show on your balance sheet that Bitcoin is currently worth $102,000. And so it would be showing a profit for Bitcoin. And so the costless impairment model requires annual impairment testing. If the asset's carrying amount exceeds its fair value, the difference becomes an impairment loss recognized in the current period that permanently reduces the asset's carrying amount to its lower fair value. And so this will be a very positive change in the cryptocurrency space. And so let's go ahead and take a look at this as well. This is going to be very positive for MicroStrategy, right? That has been holding Bitcoin for 4 years now. And they have not been able to show that they're actually profitable for their company. However, with this change here, they're going to be able to show that by holding the Bitcoin, they're in profit over $17 billion, as this is now being added to the QQQ. And so, this is massive news for MicroStrategy and Bitcoin. And in addition to that, we also have more and more countries continuing to discuss a Bitcoin reserve. Right, we had the United States come out at the Bitcoin conference that Donald Trump said that we are going to start offering a Bitcoin reserve. Now, we have discussion as well about Japan, Russia, Brazil, Poland, El Salvador, and we're going to see more and more countries start talking about a Bitcoin reserve, right? We saw the states of Texas and Pennsylvania as well mention that they're going to be starting a Bitcoin reserve. And so we're going to see a lot of demand for Bitcoin. However, the supply is going to remain at the same level it is today. Right, we're going to see a small increase until we get to the 21 million Bitcoin that are ever going to exist. And so the price of Bitcoin is going to keep rising substantially. Right? I mean, we saw Forbes mentioning that we could reach a $850,000 Bitcoin price. We have Michael Saylor mentioning that Bitcoin could reach a $1 million price per Bitcoin. And so if you enjoyed this content, do me a favor and hit the like button and subscribe for future videos. And as always, this is not financial advice, this is just my personal opinion. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.